And with the third overall pick in the 2024 NFL, oh my gosh, season's over. The New York Giants are an absolute train wreck. Now listen, we'll unpack it all obviously from the game, but wow, that was beyond pitiful and pathetic. See, last year was all about the head coach, right? They were locked in, they protected the ball, they were buttoned up. It was really, really obvious his impact on the team. This year, which makes me question whether or not we were a little premature to anoint the coach as the next Bill Parcells. These Giants have no spirit, no discipline, no camaraderie. They look like a McAdoo or a Judge team. And I got to tell you, it comes with the territory. You can crush Daniel Jones all you want. These New York Giants, from the first quarter of the first game of the year, they have not been ready to play, and I dropped that at the head coach's doorstep. He has been bad this season.
Right, but are you saying you don't believe in him moving forward?
I don't nearly believe in him with the conviction that I once did, to the point where I look at him and I say, maybe we were all wrong in these early assessments of what Brian Daboll is. Honestly, and by the way, Daboll's not alone. Joe Shane's, I don't want to lump it all and go all over the map here. To me, my real criticism, my real concern, aside from the lack of talent, which is a Shane thing at this point, and he missed on some draft picks, and his personnel decisions have not been very good. But we all lauded Brian Daboll like we were watching the next Belichick, even though he's obviously an offensive guy, the next Parcells, the next reincarnation of, Vince Lombardi. When you can't tackle and when there is not an ounce of discipline, that's the head coach.
I'm not going to dispute that. Brian Daboll has been. Now, the reason why, and I've been wearing it with this damn team all year long, and I'm done with it, BT. I've been backing them even after I knew better. I backed them coming into the year. I backed them after that unbelievably embarrassing performance on Sunday Night Football. I backed them because I saw last year and the second half in Arizona, Daboll and Daniel Jones. That is why I believed in this crappy Giants football team. I thought they'd compete against the Niners. Matter of fact, they played better against the Niners than they did last night. They were awful last night, getting run out of the building. Special teams is a joke. They can't tackle. Jones regressed, holding on to the ball way too long, making a stupid decision, throwing that football that turned out to be a pick six. Obviously, you can't do that. What has happened to Brian Daboll and Daniel Jones? Now, you want to focus on Daboll? He deserves to be ripped, because if it were anybody but him, we'd be saying he should be fired because the team has been an absolute train wreck. I don't know what to believe anymore. I believed in Joe Judge. I didn't think McAdoofus was a good coach. Meanwhile, McAdoofus knew what he was talking about with Geno Smith, at least. Geno Smith better than Daniel Jones. You were right about that. There's too much going on here. I thought Joe Judge was good. He turned out to be a disaster. I swore Brian Daboll was good. Right now, this is unacceptable. I don't want to hear about the excuses with the offensive line. No Saquon Barkley. They are playing like the worst team in the NFL, and it is unacceptable and should not happen under any circumstances based off of what we saw last year from this head coach.
They have been outscored 64-3 in 2 home games.
Embarrassing. They can't score. They can't tackle.
Are we back in the 1970s? Which, as you know, if you're old enough, was just not a kind decade to the Giants. I mean, they don't have a number one wide receiver. Their tight end is absolutely invisible. The offensive line is absolutely abominable. The play calling, that feels like the 1970s. Talk about an antiquated call. I mean, I gotta throw it out there. I mean, you tell me right now Brian Daboll's a one-year wonder? I can't say that you're wrong.
See,
I cannot say that you're wrong.
I'm not ready to go there yet. And again, I don't know what to believe. I swore Joe Judge was going to be good. Year 2 disaster.
Yeah.
Then I was like, all right, you know what? I was wrong about Joe Judge. This guy, Daboll's got it. I was wrong about him. He's it. How many weeks have I sat here across from you and doubled down on this damn team? Every week. Don't worry, BT. They're going to show you. They're going to turn around. Then they had that second half in Arizona. Don't worry. They're going to compete against the Niners. All right, well, the Niners are really a superior team talent-wise. This is the game. Geno Smith was carving him up before he got hurt. He comes back afterward. He was fine. Seattle with the makeshift offensive line themselves running the football over the Giants. They can't tackle. They can't their special teams is an abomination. What is with this team? And that is a reflection of the head coach. So I'm not ready to say that he's a one-year wonder yet because I can't keep doing this.
Yep.
1 year,
but you can't say that he's not. Yeah, to at least throw it at that, and that's what I'm sifting through right now. I honestly don't know. The first year, really good. The second year, off the charts, embarrassingly bad.
Well, this is a direct reflection of the head coach.
Yep.
By the way, the Giants, after we, for the majority of this town, decided against Daniel Jones, like I thought for certain last year was going to be it for Daniel Jones, and the new regime was going to change everything. They didn't. Maybe the worst thing was that they had some success last year with Jones because they believed in then fool's gold. And I got sucked in, even though I believed against it. They go to the divisional round. How? Because Daniel Jones under Brian Daboll looked great. They didn't make mistakes. They didn't beat themselves. That is more than half the battle. This year, every which way, they're beating themselves. BT, if I told you, forget who the coach was. Special teams, atrocious.
F.
Offense, can't move the football. The defense can't tackle.
D-.
You're saying that is a clear reflection of who?
I'm saying if the Giants aren't careful, they're going to have the number one pick, which, by the way, might not be a bad thing. But what I'm really saying is that, I'm sorry, we were a little bit early to anoint Brian Daboll to start. That's it. Now, I mean, I don't know how else you unpack it any other way. I mean, they are absolutely, they look disinterested. Did they practice this summer? Now, we were out there. So I saw a bunch of guys on the football field in pads and helmets and hitting each other and theoretically practicing, but did they actually practice with purpose? Because the New York Giants were not ready to start this season. I don't know if they bought into their own headlines. I don't know if they just a little, sorcery a year ago to overachieve, which I've actually long surmised, which is why I thought the Giants would be a 6-win team, and I did not think they would be a playoff team. But here I am a month into it, 6. I got to revise this thing. Right. They're not going to win 3-4 games.
Right.
They're going to get crushed by the Dolphins. They're 10.5-point dogs. The Bills are going to eviscerate them. They'll be 1-5. The Jets, wait till the Jets tee off on this offensive line. The New York Giants are already dead. Now, to be fair, there's seasons where that happens, and you can still extract something from it. The reason why I would be so distressed, something positively, I would be so distressed if I'm a Giants fan right now, is because the two things that everybody in this town talked about pertaining to the Giants, they've got the head coach and they've got the quarterback. The head coach looks lost. He's flinging tablets, penalty after penalty, fumble after fumble, missed tackle after missed tackle, getting your asses waxed on national TV every time you play to the tune of 64-3 at home. And by the way, your quarterback is on pace for, you thought last year was bad. He threw 15 touchdowns last year. Daniel Jones is on pace for 9 touchdowns and 26 picks. Daboll's an offensive guy. Don't tell me you can't leave blame at his doorstep for Jones, and you better believe I'm lumping a lot of the blame at his doorstep for this team seemingly having no interest in playing football.
This is a big problem.
They're a joke.
All the way around. I can't dispute it.
They are a joke.
We were both wrong. I thought
you think the Mets were bad this year?
No, this is bad.
This is a joke.
Coming off a divisional round appearance, and even though they overachieved, and we all knew it, They got better. Talent-wise, they brought in different weapons for Daniel Jones. And again, I don't want to hear the excuses on the offensive line. I know they miss Thomas.
Yep.
I understand they miss Saquon Barkley. By the way, Saquon Barkley, the one sitting back saying, told you so. You don't want to pay me. Without me, you can't do squat. I mean, that's the one difference. But every team deals with injuries. That is not an excuse. It's not a reason why the defense can't tackle. It's not a reason why the special teams have been more than atrocious. This is a reflection of the head coach. What happened? The wheels came off? Now, I can't say yet right now, BT, that Daboll's a one-year wonder. I can't. But, my God, the fact that we would even have this conversation 4 weeks in off a divisional round appearance last year, how is this even possible with this team?
It's borderline stunning. It's borderline stunning. Not so much the results. I didn't think they'd be very good this year, but it's stunning when it seems like we may have overinflated the coach. That is stunning.
I mean,
that's stunning.
Going the ways of McAdoofus and Judge, we're putting him in that category now.
He's trending he's not trending towards Parcells. It's going the other way. Absolutely going the other way.
This doesn't happen with a well-coached team.
Yep. 877-337-6666. What What a national embarrassment. My good God.
And
BT and
Jones,
Sal.
what, 1-13 now?
He's 1-3 in prime time. Yeah, 1-13
Yeah,
in
you
prime
had those
times.
numbers. I mean,
I've got all the numbers. None of them were pretty, but I got the numbers. He's thrown a pick in every game. 2 the first game, 1 off Barkley's pads. I get that. 1 against the Cardinals, 1 against the Niners, 2 last night. Daniel Jones looks awful, and the Giants look like a JV team, period. 877-337-6666. Well, I mean, I like to have a more pleasurable start to the day. And by the way, if you lose tight games, I think Seattle's good. All right, that's fine. You cannot explain away a lack of interest, a lack of engagement, and a lack of purpose. This is straight up, flat out pitiful so far. Rich in South Jersey, first up on the Fan, BT and Sal. Richie, what's going on?
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Rich.
I was before you in saying Dable and Shane. I believe, and don't get excited, Sal, that Ben...
He's already excited, Rich. Didn't you hear him?
Ben McAdoo only made 2 mistakes.
Okay.
One, a suit, which he corrected. The second one was hurting the Giant fans' heart by putting in Geno Smith. Maybe he was right.
Right.
Maybe he
I
was
honestly
right about
agree.
Smith.
McAdoofus might have been the best thing that they had.
He also wanted Mahomes.
He was. He
wanted
was the one
Mahomes.
that liked. He was the one that liked Mahomes.
Yes.
He knew.
Yeah, thanks, Rich.
He knew that it was. I can't believe we're talking about Ben McAdoofus today. Dable, come on, bro.
McAdoofus.
The Giants have crushed me, BT. I've been putting my good name on the line here this football season and my money.
You don't tell me you
I
bet them
did
again last
again.
night. What?
I can't help myself. I believe in Dable and Jones, and this is the thanks they give me.
You better stop
I'm down
believing
over
in them.
$1,000 because this damn team
No
already.
way.
Yes.
Oh, go the Niners. I know you lost. How much did you? That doesn't matter how much you lost again
Over
last
a
night.
couple of hundred. Yeah, I
Stop
thought
betting
was
on this
the-
team. They
that's
don't
it.
deserve your hard-earned money. They stink.
That's it. I've been
They
pretty good.
stink.
They cost me my perfect parlay. I can't stand what's going on here. And then we're talking about Ben McAdoofus. But all kidding aside, McAdoofus, when he was in charge, he knew it was time to move on from Eli.
Yep.
He went with Geno, who was proven
In
to
Oakland.
He knew that was now the way that he did it, whatever. But they should have just stayed the course,
Mm-hmm.
believing in McAdoofus, even with that oversized suit and all that stuff. Because maybe he would have been the best choice. Since then, Shermer, Judge, it's been a disaster. I'm not trying to go there yet with Dable. But this is, come on. You're fooling yourselves if you don't think that this is alarming, the way that the entire team, defense can't tackle, special teams, and obviously the offense.
I'm sorry, Sal. There's growing pains. There's moments of transition. We can compartmentalize all that stuff. What no fan of any team in this town can understand and obviously never accept is a lack of heart. And right now, these Giants look as if they don't care what the scoreboard says. I'm sorry.
I don't know if I could go there.
When you don't tackle, that's what I'll go there.
And
then. I have no problem going there. And I know I didn't play, you didn't play. These guys can tackle us with 3 fingers. They're 10 times tougher than both of us. I get that. That's not me saying that we can do it. But this is your job. And when you show an aversion to doing your job from a physical and mental engagement point of view, you are telling us, I don't care. And you have the Giants. The Giants are, with the Yankees, the 2 leaders in this city, and this team ain't it. They're not representing the organization the way they need to.
The bigger issue to me, obviously bad tackling is a major issue. Special teams, it looks like Dable didn't even acknowledge it coming into the year. It's a train wreck. The special teams is not buttoned up at all. It's a total disaster. That can't happen under a good head coach. You should have all areas, buttoned up. But the bigger concern to me is the regression in the play of the quarterback, the sloppiness of the team. This is almost parallel to what happened with Buck Showalter, where the Mets did everything right. They didn't beat themselves. They won 101 games, overachieved, but they at least played the game the right way, didn't beat themselves. Year 2, what happened? All they're doing is making mistakes left and right. The Giants last year, the only reason why they got to the postseason was because they didn't beat themselves. How does that change under the same head coach and quarterback in 4 weeks into the next year?
I don't know the answer, but I know that it has. Nick is in Bethel, Connecticut. Nick's on the Fan, BT and Sal. What's happening, Nick? How are you?
Hey, Jalen, thanks for taking the call.
Okay.
One good thing about the Giants is, most of their games have been at night, so they haven't really ruined many Sundays for us yet. Just wanted to look at the cup half full there. But, I called earlier in the year, watching the Giants last year, every game that they won was really games that they would typically lose. So I don't want to call last year all luck, but I think we really we weren't that good last year. We got our doors blown off by Philly. We got blown out by Dallas here. It's going to be a really long year, and it sucks because, we were halfway optimistic about being just okay, and we're not even going to be just okay. We're going to be horrible.
Yep.
And it's just disappointing.
Nick, I got to tell you, Nick, you guys are already at the point where all the good from last year is gone. It's evaporated. Yeah. It's gone. Because think about this, and I don't mean to minimize accomplishment because the Giants did really overachieve, and I respect that. But when you so alarmingly take 5 steps back, any progress you made the previous year is gone because the culture looks different. Everybody feels different. The product is much worse. Dale's in Mastic, New York on the Fan. Dale, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, guys?
Hey, buddy. What's going on?
I just watched the game, and I watched a lot of the talk shows and listened to you guys lately, just getting into it. But it just looks like a lot of the coaching problems, man. Just special teams missing punts. Yeah. It's a lot of flags, and I just wanted to see what you guys wanted to think. What you wanted to say.
It's been a disaster, Dale. I mean, it has been, there's no other way to put it. Now, I'm not ready to give up on Brian Daboll just yet. We can't keep doing this with the Giants. It can't keep happening where we're blowing with the wind here. Well, Joe Judge looks good. All of a sudden, no, Joe Judge is awful and he's lost it. Like, it can't be this every single time. Year 1 good, year 2 bad. There were reasons why we all believed in Brian Daboll a year ago. Now, you watch this team this year and it makes you think, they don't have a clue. By the way, Shane and Daboll, we all said, almost to a man, everybody, man, woman, whatever, we all said that the Giants were finally in good hands with Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. And in year 2, even though they warned us saying, hey, we might not, because you go to the divisional round and people think, well, the next step is the championship round or whatever. Realistically, I didn't expect that to be the case. But this is total slop. This is unacceptable. This is worse, or at least on par with the worst that we've seen from a very bad football team over the last 5-6 years, however long it's been. Shane has made horrible picks. Thibodeau, even though he maybe made his presence somewhat felt.
Sacks, yeah.
I mean, whatever, dude. He still sucks. Neil is a total bust.
Neil's a disaster.
He's a turnstile. You got a big body. Put it on somebody. Goodness gracious. And then they doubled down and went all in on Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. And he has regressed. And those are just a few of the moves that this team has made. I mean, they put a defense out there that can't tackle BT. How is this not a reflection of everybody?
It is. It absolutely is. The optics are awful. I mean, you think about, if we were sitting here talking about, I know we don't talk about the Knicks quite as much as, football and baseball, but, we're having a Knick conversation or a basketball conversation. You're talking about a team that doesn't protect the rim, that doesn't, get back in transitional defense, giving up dunks, or a baseball team that's loafing down the line or pimping on balls that don't leave the yard. Like the football equivalent is to a team that just doesn't seem to care about their job, not tackling. Like that's the essence of the game. And they don't even... I mean, I don't want to say that they don't try, but they don't try hard enough. They just don't.
We've talked about this with Carl Banks. We've talked about this with the Dory Jackson. Well, we'll have a Dory Jackson on later on today, and we're going to ask him about it again. I mean, hey, how do you explain poor tackling? Well, it's effort and whatever, and we just got to get guys. No.
I don't want to hear that today. Not good enough today. After the first game, fine. Second, not today. Giant fans better not hear that from a Dory Jackson today. Don't say that it's early. You can't say that today. It's 1 month.
4 games they're not tackling. They're getting their asses kicked all over the field on national TV. Like, BT, think about this. The Seahawks, you give them credit. They're well coached. They draft very well. They develop very well. They're good, but they're not. And even that game last night still would have been a close game had the Giants not beaten themselves. At home, national team, like I've seen worse teams. The Cardinals beat the Cowboys. How does that happen? Yeah. So I've seen worse teams compete far better than this Giants team that has gotten their ass kicked every which way, basically every time they've taken the field this year outside of 2 quarters.
This is bad. 877-337-6666. BT and Sal on the Fan. And I'm looking at the coach. I know you can look at other spots. I get that. I'm looking at Brian Daboll. This is his team. And if you get the praise a year ago, you got to take some heat this year. And his team is not ready to play football.